Good afternoon. My name is Caryl Stern. I'm the president and CEO of the U.S. Fund for UNICEF, and I have the easiest job of everyone today because I have 4 brilliant young people to talk to us for a few minutes this afternoon. And for me, it's particularly exciting because the organization that I represent was the original Kids Helping Kids organization with Trick or Treat for UNICEF over 60 years ago. And I often think when I look at our history, I wonder who their parents were. You know, we have a great list of names of the kids who got involved, but I wonder who their parents were, because I know that I do what I do for a living because of who my mom was. You know, I have a picture that stays with me in everything that I do, and it is a picture of a little girl standing on a dock getting ready to board a ship with a little boy. The girl is 6 years old, the little boy is 4. And they're headed for a country that they've only just recently learned they're going to. And the year is 1939. They're traveling with neither of their parents because their parents have paid dearly to get them out of Vienna because the Nazis are on their heels. And the little girl is my mom, the little boy her brother. And they were saved because one woman cared enough to bring them to the United States. And she was someone they didn't know, whose last name they know, whose first name they never knew, and who they never saw again. But I grew up in a home where that was the first story you heard, and you learned early on that one person can make a difference. And my grandfather then boarded a ship called the SS St. Louis, bound for Cuba, where they learned that their documents were fraudulent, and they sat in a harbor for 40 days while the world debated what to do with them. And they were ultimately sent back to Europe, where most of them perished. So I also learned what happened when nobody gives a damn. And so for me to end up doing what I'm doing is not at all a surprise. It's a direct correlation to the parents that raised me. And sitting here are 4 people who also understand that difference, who have chosen to make a difference. So let me stop talking, and I am going to turn to Trisha first. You know, you grew up in India. You have a wealth of experiences that I think propel you. Why don't you share a little bit of that with us?
Thank you. Well, I had the opportunity to travel throughout India because of my dad's job, and I witnessed the challenges of children and families, you know, for basic amenities like clean water, sanitation, education, and you know, which we take granted in this developed country. You know, one of the experiences, you know, that is really close to my heart is when I saw a pregnant woman in labor, you know, taken for delivery in a bullock cart, and because there were no local hospitals and doctors available in that town. So it was really, you know, heartbreaking to see that. And, you know, it made me realize, wow, you know, we're here. We have all the medical facilities here, you know, there. But, you know, it's very inspiring to see that.
So what has that propelled you to do?
To, you know, become a doctor one day, and, you know, it actually motivated me to get into medical field and, you know, have the support, you know, have organized free medical camps in the future, and, you know, work with other doctors to organize that.
Great. And I know you also serve as the president of the Queens College UNICEF Club. Was it difficult to organize others around?
It is a bit difficult to get the youth involved, but when you know what the right activities that you get them involved in, we do our annual trick or treat for UNICEF and UNICEF TAP project, which is originated in New York. So really proud of that. So we get them involved by doing, going to communities and doing fundraisers to educate, advocate them. And yeah, we do a lot of events and connect the youth with us.
Neha, you're involved with Girl Up. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, and also similarly, what propelled you to get involved?
Yeah, so Girl Up is a For Girls by Girls campaign of the United Nations Foundation that helps American girls connect with their counterparts in developing countries and raises funds and awareness so that they can have the opportunity to go to school and visit a doctor and stay safe from violence, you know, things that, you know, we would never even think of that we would ever even lack. And so I got involved with it after reading Half the Sky, which was, of course, just completely blew my mind. My grandmother grew up in India, and I remember hearing from her how, she had to drop out of school at a young age because it was more important for her brothers to go to school and there was only so much money in the household. But I never connected that to think that, that still happens around the world today. So when I heard that, I was completely spurred to action, and I found Girl Up. And the great thing about Girl Up is that it's not just about writing a check, because that's not the way philanthropy works anymore. It's about getting youth together and using your voice to say something about something that you care about. And I think that's the wonderful way that Girl Up has kind of helped me use my passion to speak up for something that I believe in.
Eric, your work is more domestically focused, but similarly reaching out and engaging people for others. Why don't you share what you're doing?
Yeah, so I'm the executive director of the MAWA Environmental Volunteers Organization. We're a North Jersey-based youth-led environmental organization, which means we're led by high school, college, and graduate students. And we do environmental projects ranging from large-scale trash cleanups to building organic farms to teaching kids about beekeeping. These programs are led entirely by young people. I started the organization in 2008 when I was 16. I'm 22 now, and we've been led by young people since then, since we started.
And how old will you be when you have to give that title up?
A couple more years, perhaps. We'll see.
You're also involved with things for Indigenous people of New Jersey. You want to share a little of that?
Yeah, so our most important cause that we work on currently is with a group of people known as the Ramapo Lenape Nation. They are an indigenous tribe that lives in northern New Jersey. They've been living there for thousands of years. We work with them on addressing illegal trash dumping in their community, which means trucks come in at night, they dump garbage, they dump tires, they dump asphalt and horrible things around the homes of these people. And these people are essentially living in trash. So what we currently do is we get young people engaged with the tribal community, cleaning up that garbage. And we've been doing that for about 3 years. And the second thing we're doing now is trying to work with that community to give them a voice, to start getting political officials as well as police involved in addressing that dumping.
Florida, yours is a more personal story.
Yeah.
Why don't you share how you got involved and what you're involved in?
Yeah, so I'm involved with EggPath, and it is a foundation. It's an amazing foundation that provides medicine to mothers who are infected with the HIV virus, and so that they won't, pregnant mothers actually, so that they won't transmit the virus to their child. So my mother is HIV positive, and I'm a living proof of what EggPath is for, because she took the medicine and while she was pregnant, and so now I'm HIV negative, thanks to her and thanks to the foundation. So thank you. Thank you.
So if you could wave your wand, what's the one thing that you think will kind of take us to achieving that AIDS-free generation? What would you do?
I think that if mothers all around the world who are infected or impacted by this disease, if they just took the medicine, then we wouldn't have to worry about children having to live with this virus anymore. If we all come together and just help out and spread the word about this virus and let people know that people are still dying and people are still infected with this disease, that no more children have to live with it anymore. So.
Eric, in your model, how do you recruit youth? How do you retain them? You know, I think most of us here who are moms would say,
Sure.
we want our kids involved, you know. What does it take?
So I can give 2 examples of this. When we started in 2008. And in 2009, we met an organization called DoSomething.org, which is one of the reasons why I'm sitting right here in front of you. We met them, and they are the largest national youth organization. They help teenagers. Over 2.5 million teenagers are involved with them. They do over 60 campaigns for teenagers to get involved in. And we connected with them, and we said we needed help getting youth involved with our program. And since 2009, they've supported us with advice, with funding, with guidance, with mentorship, and how to get young people engaged. And what we found the best way to do that is to really plan projects that youth want to be involved in and have youth leaders recruit their own friends. So our youth leaders that are in high school, they go around during lunch, they go around during recess, they go around to school clubs, and they talk about the work that MEVO is doing and recruit kids right there in the hallways. And if those kids know those other kids, it becomes like a friendship thing. It's like, I'm going to bring my best friend, I'm going to bring my other friend, and we're all going to go out this Saturday and volunteer. Me being in college, I can't go to a high school and recruit a lot of kids because they don't know me. But if you get a high school leader to recruit kids, that's how you get a big turnout. And also when you plan volunteer events, like you can't plan them at 9 a.m. on like a Saturday. Kids aren't gonna come out. You gotta plan them at like 10:30, 11 o'clock. Everybody comes out. It has to be a time when kids can be there. And around SATs also. Yes.
I won't even go there with the SATs in my house. So as president of the Queens UNICEF Club, do you find that your peers are interested? Are they easy to tell them what's going on, or wrapped up in other things?
They're very enthusiastic about these things. It does get hard to involve youth into it, but if we find creative ways, like we do car washes, bake sales, and photo booths to get the youth involved, and we also ask ideas from our members and what they want to do and get them more involved with it. I think yeah, that's what it is.
How about the two of you with getting others involved? What's your best tip?
Well, I think using social media as a tool really helps, because it's when you tell somebody, oh, you can share the status on Facebook, and that this might $1 will be donated to this organization, and just share knowledge and basically news. Just kind of like once someone knows about a cause and they feel like they have a part in it, I think what's important for youth to feel when they get involved with an organization is that their small little action can make a difference. So I think whenever you have that kind of, like one person can do this kind of action, that really makes a difference.
Yeah. Also hashtagging, like on your, if you have any like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, just hashtags, make it trendy, spread it.
Talking to the right audience. So you have a great audience in front of you. What's the one message they're going to tweet? What do you want them to say? You each get one. Go.
Take action, globally. If you feel something's wrong, go out and spread it out. You definitely have a global voice for yourself, and yeah. Social media is a great way, and also using resources. UNICEF has great resources. Like you can, access everything, fun educational activities through home, for your children. And we also have student campus initiatives and high school initiatives where you can take part in, and also take action. There's a website, UNICEF Action Center, and you can just take action right now just by registering.
Yeah, just put hashtag. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, one piece of advice, since we are here at an event celebrating moms, I would encourage moms and parents in general to don't underestimate the power of your kids to change the world. I think that youth have the potential to do so much more. We have so much free time on our hands, and if we channeled it toward a great cause, I think we benefit the most from it. So definitely, if your kids don't know about these, forward these organizations to them, and if they find a cause that they're passionate about, I'm sure they'll appreciate it the most.
Saving the world, cleaning my room.
And I'm gonna second that in this idea that young people need to know that if we don't take action today, the problems in the world are only gonna get worse. We're inheriting these problems. So we need to do what we can right now at this age, to address these global issues. And when I started my organization, I came home to my mom and I said, Mom, I'm gonna start an organization that picks up garbage for free. and she looked at me like, you should have had a response like, Eric, that's ridiculous. You should get a summer job. But instead, she's like, Eric, I think you care about this issue, you're passionate about it, and I'm gonna support you. And my mom and my dad, they supported me through all these years doing volunteer work. And now coming out of this, I've accomplished a lot. I've gotten a lot of kids motivated to change the world and to take action. And if they hadn't supported me, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So it's important to realize that when your kid has a passion, support them in that, because they can go so many places.
So if you were going to kind of sit here, we're recruiting her today. Okay. Give her your pitch.
Become a volunteer for UNICEF Action Center, and I think it can take you great places. I'm sitting here in front of Caryl Stern, the CEO and the president of U.S. Fund for UNICEF, and it's my passion, and I'm going towards it. Yeah, and thank you.
Good, Florida. Recruit. Tell her why she should support your cause.
You should support my cause because you could save so many lives, and so many innocent lives, and you could help mothers not have to live with the burden the pain in their hearts that they gave this disease to their child, and there was nothing they could do about it. So you should definitely help, because you should help provide medicine to those who need it and those who don't even know about it. So.
Here at Girl Up, we say, while we are strong alone, together we are stronger. And I think if you decide to support the very important cause of educating girls around the world, and we all know that educating girls is the #1 way to solve poverty. And I think with your help, and with everyone's help in your network, because when I recruit you, I'm not just recruiting you, I'm recruiting all your friends and your family. So I hope that you join us and share this news that educating girls is the best way to solve poverty, and that one girl can make a difference.
I would say I'd shake their hand. I'd be like, how you doing, man? Like, what are you doing this Saturday? Nothing? Okay. Well, we're doing a volunteer event this Saturday for 4 hours. You need community service credit, and it's a good time to hang out with a bunch of cool kids and have like a great time helping the environment. If I was pitching to an older person, I would just speak to the idea that
You didn't mean to.
younger.
It's okay.
Not saying you're not. I would speak to the idea that, you know, younger people, they want to be motivated by like a call to action. It's not necessarily the dire importance of global climate change. Older person, I'd say like these issues are going to affect future generations. And if we don't take action today, and if you as an older person don't help me, we're gonna be totally worse off. So global climate change, industrial pollution, all these issues that MEVO is educating young people about, they're so important. So, and also keep in mind, like I find that when you recruit someone just to come out one time, it's about that initial interaction that's going to bring them back. So we bring someone to our farm and we teach them about bees, and we get this kid who doesn't think about bees at all, interested in beekeeping. All of a sudden, this kid has found a new passion in their life that they never knew existed. And then they come out because they like that interest rather than just like they're there for the one time for community service hours.
So what was your first volunteer experience? The first thing you did as a volunteer?
I think for me, it was volunteering at a soup kitchen in downtown New Brunswick. And I think that just made me, because I didn't know about the poverty in my local area. And there was such a long line. I came during lunch, and I think I just realized that there's more to than just what's at the rosy picture that we're presenting in school. And I think if youth get involved, we should know through our local volunteer organizations that we can help change this.
Anybody else?
I volunteered, my first volunteer experience was at a hospital, and I saw patients and helped kids, and I played guitar for kids, when they're in bed and they're sick. And it was such a great experience, and it's a great feeling to volunteer and help people that are in need. And also my second experience is working with UNICEF, becoming a member and educating about the important issues about clean water and sanitation, education, and emergency reliefs. Going and helping these important issues, it's an amazing thing.
How about you, Florida? Where'd you get started?
I remember this one time I came with my mom to UCLA, and she spoke as an ambassador for EGPATH. And it was just a great experience for me to see everyone come together and help support and fight this disease and everything. So to me, it really made me grow up, and it really touched me, that experience right there, just to see everyone get engaged and come together, So that was one of them.
Yeah, so up until 2008, I was a very typical teenager. I played a lot of video games, hung out with my buddies, didn't really know about global problems. And in 2008, I went hiking with some of my best friends, which was something we don't always do. And we realized that there was a need to engage more young people in the natural environment and teach more kids about this beautiful natural place that we'd like to explore, which was the Ramapo Reservation, a 3,000-acre forest by our home. And at that point, we decided to start MEVO. So before then, I had actually done hardly any, if none, really, volunteer work. We started MEVO with this mission to engage kids, and since then, I've been volunteering. But that was it. It was like that revelation, that change in my life, which was like, I want to do something that brings more young people to experience what I'm experiencing. And I wish I could say that wasn't my first experience, but it was.
So when you think about your formal education in the classroom, what do you think was missing or was there, you can go either way, that either propelled you to do what you're doing, or should be there that might get others to do more?
You wanna?
Well, I think one component that I think is sorely missing from everyone's education, really, in public school at least, is an international studies class, because we don't have a class where we can talk about current events necessarily, and I think that should be a very important component, so you can connect what you've been learning, like all the physics and the math and the English, back to what's going on in the world today. So you have context in what you're learning, the knowledge in, because I think once you graduate, you'll remember that news more, like your interactions with your peers and what you learned from them, as much as all the other subjects.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I could touch on it if that's okay. So when I was in high school, what I think back to this now is that, and this also resonates a lot with the work we do with Mevo, we take young people and we give them an opportunity to lead. We give them a lot of responsibility. We have them meeting with mayors and political officials. We have them meeting with tribal chiefs, different community residents, and we have them organizing at the age of 17 or 16 years old community initiatives and community projects that rely on them to be the key component. It's a risky move because sometimes young people can't do it, and sometimes young people really flourish and do amazing. And in high school, especially at a younger age, not like senior year, sophomore year, or freshman year, I didn't find those opportunities to be a leader. Or I was always, if I was given a leadership role, it was always controlled by that club-like mentor or someone else kind of guiding me. And so I think an opportunity within school to get a leadership role that you are not being told how to do it, but rather saying, here's the tools, here's your goal, figure it out, go for it. And I think that can change a young person from being just a follower to really being someone who's actively engaged in changing society.
So I think interactions, what I found missing in high school was, I was just a shy girl, and really getting into the clubs. I mean, I didn't feel involved into things. And when I came to college, there are a lot more opportunities here, involving yourself into clubs. And, I think, yes, I agree with Mayor, like we definitely need classes that, that can educate, students internationally and globally and know what's really going on out there. Yeah.
You want to add anything, Flora?
Yeah, I agree. I think also, like in my school, it's kind of lack of knowledge. I remember like in health class, there was people, they didn't really know like about a lot of things like diseases or HIV or whatever. This guy was like, can you get it through cough, or can you get it through like sharing food? I think it's just some people, they just don't know and everything. So, but now I think it's gotten better. Like in my high school, there's health class, and there's, like you said, you thought there was lack of in public schools. What were you saying, the international?
Yeah, like a current events class.
Yeah, we have that, and I actually attend one right now, and we also have health class. So I think it's gotten a little better now. So
We're almost out of time, but I would just kind of summarize up a little bit by saying I've had the privilege over the past 8 years to visit over 40 countries, and there's great diversity in the world, but there are also some things that are just always the same. And I kid around at our office about, two of them are pretty funny, that in every country I've been in, if there are children, they're always playing with a ball. I think there's something inherent in us that we have to play with round things. But, and the second is that my lap is just not my property. If I sit on the ground long enough, a child is going to sit on me. It doesn't matter where in the world we are. But the third is something I think all four of you touched on, and that is that if we give our children a chance, sometimes their ideas are so much better than our own. And that if we empower them with some skills and some tools and let them loose, we will be awed by what they come back with. And that's in every country I've seen just amazing things come out of the kids. And then I think the final thing that I would end on to all of us in this room is, as moms, we all want the same things for our kids. It's not defined by economic success. We want our kids to be healthy. We want them to be safe. We want them to go to bed at night with their bellies full under a warm blanket. We want them to dream really, really big dreams. And we want to be part of making those dreams come true. And, maybe in one place, in my school, you're going to go to college, and my kids, let's aim high. And maybe in a village, it is 2 goats instead of 1. but we want our children to achieve that. And if we're lucky as moms, we get to be part of it. And I would say to the four of you, kudos to your parents, because clearly they've done a phenomenal job. Thank you very, very much.